Hey guys, and Nintendo just revealed a very weird Mario game that is coming out later this month, as well as a line of toys. So I kind of wanted to talk about that today, because the game is called Hello Mario, and joining me in this video is my cousin, who's with me right now.
Um, Hi. I'm Donovan. You may know me from the Pikmin 4 video 2 years ago, or the Ripley's Aquarium video from 1 year ago. But yes, we are going to be talking about new things that have just been announced. Nintendo.
So yeah, the first one I already mentioned is called Hello Mario. I can't think of this Hello Mario app without thinking of that one meme from a few years ago. But basically, it's like the title screen of Mario 64, where you have Mario's face and you're able to stretch it around and do different things with it, but it's like a 2D Mario here, and I think it's pretty interesting. You could put like stickers on it and things, so it's kind of like a little app for kids that they're releasing, kind of like a introduction to Mario for like very young kids. So I think that's interesting that they're putting that out. It's going to be on both iPad and I think Android as well, and the Switch/Switch 2. So I think that's pretty interesting that they're doing this little app kind of based on the title screen of Mario 64 for like young children and everything. But what are your thoughts on it?
I think it is a very good callback to some old game that some younger kids will still be able to enjoy if they ever get an N64 in their adulthood and they ever get Mario 64.
Yeah, and there's also the Nintendo Switch Online for Mario 64 as well, so it's kind of like a introduction to that. So, but I think you could also like put stickers on this too, but I think it's pretty funny. It kind of reminds me of like those older Mario games, like back in the 90s, they had like Mario Teaches Typing, Mario's Time Machine, Mario is Missing, as well as like Mario's early years. Like they had like a bunch of like older like educational games for very young children. This kind of seems like Nintendo's almost kind of returning to that in a way. So I think that's pretty interesting. The only unfortunate thing is the price of the Switch is going up, so it might be harder for parents to get like a Switch for younger children, but at least it's on iPad as well, so, or like iOS devices and Android, so it is fairly accessible. But on top of this, they're also doing a line of Mario toys in Japan, and I think they're going to come out in the US in 2026, called My Mario, and the Hello Mario app is associated with that. So they're basically going to do these like wooden figures that interestingly also function as amiibo figures. I think that is pretty interesting. So it's almost like they could play with these like little wood block figures when they're very young, and then when they're older and they start playing games like Super Mario Odyssey and different things like that, they could actually use those figures as like actual amiibo figures. So I think that's pretty interesting, and it's cool to see Nintendo support amiibo figures like well into the Switch 2 era. So what are your thoughts on that?
I think it is pretty cool that they have doubled up as amiibo, but I've also noticed that they have been actually turning it to the newer designs, because the wooden figures look a lot like their Mario Wonder figures.
Yeah, that's true. I think that's pretty interesting. Like you could see it looks a lot like their models in the game when you kind of look close up at the wood block toys here, and it's pretty interesting that they're kind of moving over to that Wonder style. We've seen that a lot lately with Mario Kart World, like kind of slightly changing a lot of the character designs, most notably Donkey Kong. So I think it's pretty interesting that they're moving into this new era of Mario fully, and I feel like this My Mario line is kind of doing that on the kind of extended area of kind of pushing out the franchise more to like children and more casual audiences. So I feel like they're kind of extending that new Wonder style into like more merchandise. And then finally, we also have like some other things that they're doing as well. Like they're releasing like a Mario book, kind of like a pop-up book almost, where you could do different things with Mario and that. And then they're also doing like a a stop, or it's either a stop motion or a puppet show thing. Yeah, it's a stop motion shorts that they're doing. It almost kind of reminds me of those Cat Mario puppet videos that they did like about a decade ago. So I think those are pretty interesting as well. And I think it's also worth noting that this is happening right before the 40th anniversary of Mario, which is happening in September, so this might be kind of tied in with that a little bit. But yeah, it's pretty interesting that Nintendo is kind of expanding the Mario brand out more to younger children, kind of similar to how they did 30 years ago. But do you have any final thoughts on this?
Well, I like how they're targeting their advertising to more younger kids, so thus they will get to grow up with Mario, even if they don't have a Nintendo Switch. And thus they'll eventually grow into playing Mario as they get older.
Yeah. So, anyways, those are our thoughts on the new Mario things that they're doing. I think it's pretty funny that they're doing a game called Hello Mario. But anyways, thank you guys for watching this video. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe for more, and make sure to check out my Discord server and Blue Sky if you want to. Stay perky!